Imagine like a 3 by 3 food stall, and we had the longest line that night. We sold out after like an hour and a half, and it goes up to like 40, 41. It's crazy. And imagine me working in a food trailer. It's like a human oven.
I still work at McDonald's. I'd love just like going into the freezer room to get more chips or more nuggets, and it'll be so nice and cool.
The Voice Generations Philippines with a group of girls, and we were called Sorority.
Have you spent time with any of like the local Aboriginals?
Oh, for sure. I'm like good friends with a lot, actually. I've seen funeral. I had to like sit down and eat dugong, sea turtles, kangaroos. I didn't really realize how much I've been through until to this interview. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, Andy. Sorry I'm late.
That's totally fine. How are you?
Good. Did you want my phone like landscape or yeah?
Let's do landscape if possible.
Yeah.
Whereabouts are you based?
Sorry?
Whereabouts are you based?
I'm in Queensland.
Ah, cool.
How about yourself?
Sydney.
Sydney.
Do you live
Oh,
in
wow.
Queensland
Okay.
full time?
Yeah, live in Queensland full time. Yeah.
Were you born in Australia?
No, I was born and raised in the Philippines.
Ah, how old were you when you came to Australia?
Um, 18? Yeah, I just turned 18 when I moved here, yeah.
Ah, and then I guess because Filipinos, you guys are really good at English already.
Yeah, I think it's almost our main language there. Like if you go, you'd never get lost, and all our signage and everything are all in English.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
How it came first came about your profile. I think I was just scrolling through Instagram. I think maybe it was a real explore. I couldn't maybe, and then I remember seeing your music, your singing, then you doing X Factor, and then that's sort of how I came into your profile, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was weird because this is like about what, like entrepreneurship. And then I've never really like posted anything about it. Like I do have entrepreneur like on my bio, but I don't really post my business much on my social media. So it's like, oh,
Yeah. I've been
okay, but
like
yeah.
trying to bring on more like younger creators and influencers, people that are like my age. One, I think it'll be cool just chat with people that are sort of doing similar things and it's at a similar chapter of where I'm at. I think it'll be like a different type of conversation. So that's sort of what I've been doing.
Righty. Okay. I did have a look at your socials. I'm like, oh wow, this is like really nice. Yeah, I've learned so like I went to your TikTok and I've learned a few things from the past interviewees. I was like, oh, this is nice. Yeah, I was looking forward.
That's cool. That's cool. I guess, is it Aine? Is that how to pronounce it? Aine?
Ein, like wine, but without the W. Ein.
Aine. Aine. Got it. Wine without the W. Aine. Got it.
Yeah, no one
Wine.
can get it at first. None. I don't think I ever like no one has said it right before in the first
Um,
go.
So I guess, yeah, please give, I guess, the audience and me a bit of intro on sort of who you are and sort of, I guess, what you're currently focused on.
Okay, wait, give me one sec. What are we gonna talk about mainly? Like the social media side, like the
Might talk about the
influencing
social
side,
media.
or the business side? Or I can do both.
Probably do both. And I definitely want to hear about your, like, were you on X Factor? Like, I want to hear about that and I want to hear about, like everything. Yeah, we just sort of take it where it goes.
Okay. No worries. All right. My complete name is Francis Aine Cima Abella. I was born and raised in the Philippines. I moved here in Australia, Queensland, when I was 18. And then at 21, I started my own business here from scratch, which is like a Filipino food trailer. And so far it's doing really well. It's almost running 4 years old, almost, yeah, 4.5, I think. Yeah, not sure. I think 4 years, yeah. And just last year, I went home for half a year, for 6 months to the Philippines to join. It's actually the Voice Generations Philippines with a group of girls, and we were called Sorority. And then, yeah, end of the year, I moved back here and back on the business. It was sort of like me. I sort of didn't have to choose. It was a good experience, but I'm still leaning more on like doing the business rather than, I mean, I do have a bit of following on social media like TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, but I can't really call myself an influencer because I'm not doing it either full-time or part-time. Like for some reason on TikTok, I just boomed and I just went along with it. Like I just post whenever I feel like posting and yeah.
When you were sort of back in the Philippines for the 6 months, did you have to close the food truck for 6 months?
Oh no, so I had to set it up where I don't have to be around and it's still like yeah, like ongoing. So I had my mom and my sister here. My sister just had her visa approved the start of last year. And then in the middle of last year, I had to fly home to everything just worked out basically. Because if my sister didn't have her visa approved to move here in Australia, I don't think I could do the voice. I don't think I could fly home and do the voice. So yeah, everything just worked out.
What type of food is in the food truck? I know it's Filipino food, but what type of Filipino food?
So we do like fried chicken inspired by, of course, Jollibee. Um, we do adobo, chicken pork adobo. We do like noodles, like the pancit noodles or bihon. We have lumpia, which is spring rolls, and shumai, which is steamed pork, like dim sims. So yeah, that's our main food.
How do you guys how did you get people to know about the food truck? Does it stay in one location? Does it and how do you market it?
So I live in Weipa. It's like a small mining town. So if you
Mm.
think about it, it's not a lot of competition. How the business actually started, so my mom and my aunt are really good cooks. Um, but they're not chef by profession or anything. They just know how to cook and they do it really well. And then when I was here, when I moved here, I just see them like cook for family and friends for free. And in my head, it's like, oh, that's money, money, money. And they're just giving food away, basically. And then there's this one like big event here in town, and I wanted to apply for it. I wanted my mom and my aunt to cook and sell food, but they were like hesitant. They're like, no, I don't think it'll click. We're Filipinos, like, no one's gonna buy it, da da da. And I was like, no, it will, it will. And then I applied for it myself. I had like a 3 by 3 food stall, and I hired both of them to be like my cook. And then imagine like a 3 by 3 food stall, and we had the longest line that night. It was inspiring to see, and it sort of like clicked something in their head saying, okay, this is a potential. So that's how we started. They were really hesitant at first, but I like pushed through. And then what, like 6 months later, we decided to sell in a now bigger, like 3 by 6 food stall. There's a location where where food trailers park, and we build our food stall every Sunday just to sell for the whole day. And we've been doing that for 3, 4 months. So every Sunday we do that for 3, 4 months until we saved enough that we bought like a small food trailer. It was like a 4 by 3 food trailer. So that was our like the start. And then a year later, um, a restaurant here offered for me to handle the restaurant. I did give it a go, but I didn't like it because, the thought of having my own food trailer is being my own boss. I can go out whenever I want, like, but the restaurant, I was still operating my food trailer by that time. And then I was operating the restaurant as well. But the restaurant was so demanding. And because we're not the only business within that premise, I had to like open whenever these guys are open, or they have to like, they request for me to open at like a certain day and time, and I didn't like it. So after like a month, I gave it up. Yeah, so I didn't like it. And then just continued with my small food trailer until I saved enough to get a really big one. So now I've got a 7 meter food trailer.
That's so freaking cool. When you sort of did that first night where you got the 3 by 3 and you got that super long line, why do you think it was super long? Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like word of mouth. I didn't even advertise that I was gonna, we were selling this, that, this, and that. I think just, but what I did though was instead of packing my food where, like in a bag, like a bag of chips, it's like hidden, like it's in a bag. I was putting it in a like a paper tray where
Mm.
everyone could see what what people were eating, walking around, and then they probably have asked like, "Oh, where'd you get that?" Pointed at my stall, and then they started lining up. And I think that's how it. Because my spring rolls, instead of putting in a bag, I had it like in a little like paper tray, and everything's there, and then the sauce, like you could actually see my food. So I think that was like one of the strategy I pulled off. And then my price weren't as high as compared to the other food vendors, I guess. But yeah, we sold out after like an hour and a half, and we got the rest of the evening to enjoy the event.
That's so cool. Did you say your price was higher or lower compared to everyone? Mm.
Lower compared to like the others. But now we've adjusted it because obviously there's like fees and yeah, regos to be paid and whatnot. Yeah,
That's so cool. Did you
yeah, thank you.
do like, is your socials completely separate to your food truck business, or was there any integration at all?
The I think the only integration of people would know I work in a food trailer or I don't even know if they know I own the food trailer or own the business is the only like TikTok dances where I dance in the food trailer. But that's it. I've never like, hey, this is my food trailer, this is my money box, and this and that. Like I have thought about it, but like I said, I only post when I feel like posting. I'm not really focused on becoming a social media influencer.
Mm.
It's just like some of my TikTok, some of my reels just click. And that's what my friends tell me, like, you should become like a what do you call it? Like a content creator or a social media influencer, because apparently I'm really good. But I just don't have the time, I guess. And I just can't be bugged for some reason. Like if I will pursue that, I think I might need a team or a person who'll manage my social media and this and that. But yeah, so far I'm just living happily and just post whenever I can or whenever I want.
That's cool. Was did you have the food truck during COVID, and did that affect things?
Yes, it I did have mm, during COVID, I think we started the Sunday one, like every Sunday.
Mm.
Yeah, and then because I live in a mine site, we didn't have COVID until a year and a half. That was the first case we had after
Mm.
that. So everything seemed pretty normal here. I lived in like Weipa. It's like a little town. But
Mhm.
we during COVID, where everyone's like wearing masks outside, having lockdowns, we were just living our normal lives here. It was cool. It was good. And then I think this annoying thing was like if we fly to the city, which is like our closest city is Cairns, then we have to put masks on and isolate and do these things that we're not used to. Yeah, but everything was just normal. And I did have the food trailer. Oh, no, not the food trailer, but the stall. But like I said, it didn't really affect the business.
How big is the town Weipa? Like, what's the population there?
We're like 5,000, between that, 3,000, 5,000 people.
And is it mainly Australians, or are there a lot of sort of like Asians or immigrants?
It's a mix to be honest, but it's there's a lot of what do you call it? Sorry, I forgot. Like landowners,
Mm.
Aboriginal islanders. There's lots of them here, and they love our food, and yeah, it's just nice. The community, there's lots of like communities here, but Weipa's actually like a really, really good town to like raise a family, even have a business because there's no fast food here, like literally no competition. There's like one mall, which is not even a mall, just one grocery, Woolworths, one church of every religion, I guess. Um, one pharmacy, one private hospital, one public hospital, like one of everything, one post office, like just small town.
I was in Cairns maybe 3, 4 years ago, and then I remember sort of going out of the city to check out the rainforest, um,
Mm.
and like crossing some boat or something. Are you guys inland, or where would you be situated from there?
Oh, from Cairns,
Yeah.
10 hours up
Oh.
driving.
And would you be on near the coast or?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
We're like 4 hours from the tip, basically.
wow. And then how
Yeah.
far are you from the coast?
Oh, literally just there. You can see like the
Wow.
ocean just there.
And it's a
Yeah, it
mine
was
site.
sort of like facing Darwin area.
Oh, because when I think of mines, I think of like the outback.
Oh no, look, Weipa is very it's like a little Cairns. It's not really like rugged.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty small town.
Interesting. Are there any all the mine workers, are there any like food trucks that open up like at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. to like serve coffee or food to the mine workers, or like who like where do they eat food in the morning?
There is this one, it's a coffee food trailer that goes out from 4 a.m. I think, from
Mm-hmm.
Monday to Friday. And then
Mm,
the rest of us are like usually go out like 3, 4 in the afternoon till we all sell out.
makes sense. Because I remember a story, my friend, he's like a dogman, so he works in the trade space, and he was saying how there was this old lady, she would like open up shop at like 4 a.m., put out these sort of plastic seats and tables, and tradies would come in, and people who work in trades and truck drivers come in. They'll eat and buy food. And then by like 7, 8 a.m., she just closes up and she goes back home. I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. And she like makes a decent amount in those like 2, 3 hours.
Yeah, that's an idea for me. Thank you. But yeah, it's a bit tricky actually. We do have like bakery here, which opens like 5 in the morning, I think.
Mm.
There's a cafe here, but they usually open at 7, but now they're closed and selling the business. Thought of buying it because it's such a good opportunity, but it's so expensive. They're putting it up like so high.
Oh. And with that same amount, do you reckon you can just start one from scratch?
What's this, the cafe?
The one that you're planning to buy or looking at?
Um, can always do. There's just Australia is one of the hardest. I don't know. I think I've heard that Australia they call Australia like the land of no because you apply for this, it's a no. This no. Like it's just so hard to get permits and everything.
Mm.
Yeah, apparently. Well, I've never really tried anywhere else, just here in Weipa. And because Weipa is such a small town, I think it's an advantage. People sort of like know each other. So
Mm.
usage of connection, you can always give like a little way. You could always bend a few rules in there, here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's good. We are planning to maybe move in Cairns in a year or two's time. And I can't see myself in like being an employee, to be honest, especially after, owning your own business, like, like having your own hours and this and that, traveling whenever you want. So I'm thinking of maybe like, yeah, like starting from scratch again in Cairns, or Townsville either. But yeah, shouldn't be that hard, hopefully.
What's your role now? That's, you set it up in a way where your family can run it without you, and you can travel, you can go to Philippines for the voice. Um, like what's your day to day like now?
So Monday to Friday, that's when we do our food trailer, like sell.
Mm-hmm.
So there's three of us, my mom, my sister, and myself. My sister is an architect and she is doing online schooling to be qualified because she just moved here last year. So she's doing like a TAFE. Have you
Mm-hmm.
heard yet? TAFE to qualify. And then while she's doing that, she's just, working for a food trailer to get wage, like money. Me and my mom are 50-50 with the business. I started it, but I went 50, like halves with her.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're both directors and yeah, we basically it's not really hard. Like if we don't want to work, we don't want to work.
And when
We
you were
just talk
away,
it out.
and when you were away for 6 months, did your mum just run it on her own?
Mom and sister. Yeah. And then I do have a few employees that helps me out. I've got 3 by that time and I just like roster them. I did a written agreement with the 3 of them. They're all minors, like they're all juniors.
Mm.
I put their like pay a little higher because without me, it's just a bit hard because I
Mm.
do know the ins and out. There's a problem in the business or with the customer, like they always like come pull me, but because I won't be around, it's a little bit of a stressful situation, especially for my sister who was only living here for what? for 4 or 5 months before I left for the Philippines. So that's like a big pressure on her. So yeah, I just had to make a few adjustments before I left. And I did come back for a month and a half. Like I went home to the Philippines for a month, came back here for a month and a half to like reset everything, check everything. And there was a big event too, so I had to be here. And then I flew back for 4 months till December.
That's so cool. And then
Yeah.
when you came to Australia, were you like studying or did you go straight into everything you mentioned?
When I came in Australia, because in the Philippines, before I moved here, I was in uni for a year and a half.
Mm.
And then uni there was what, year 11 and 12 here in Australia.
Okay.
So when I moved here, my dad was gonna enroll me for year 12 because I basically didn't finish year 12, like if like equivalent. And the school didn't accept me because I've already experienced uni and I was actually got high grades and stuff. So I
Mm.
feel like they got intimidated and they wouldn't accept me. And they referred me to TAFE or open universities. And then I did open universities, and then the only school that wanted me on accepted me because my thing was really complicated apparently. Was Griffith University in Brisbane. So because I've already tried uni and the subject I enrolled was business, I studied tourism in the Philippines. And then I enrolled for business with Griffith, and they gave me two subjects to complete. And if I can ace it, they'd allow me to proceed, like, they'd, what do you call it, the pathway to what do you call it, to university, to a degree. So I aced two subjects with Griffith, and then I've enrolled to another four after that. I was doing everything online too, because my mom, being typical Filipino, wouldn't let me move to the city because, the influence of Western this and that. So I like stayed here, did everything online. And then when I enrolled for four subjects, it was really hard. And I was actually working full time as a supervisor here in Sodexo, here in Weipa. I got hired to become a scheduler slash supervisor for the grounds team. And I worked 10 hours a day. And then after that, I had my RSA. So sometimes I get called in to work behind, like, bartending on the
Mm.
weekends. So it was like a big shuffle. Like I've got this full-time job, 10 hours from Monday to Friday. And then Thursday, Friday, I usually get called in to work for like 3, 4 hours till like or midnight bartending, and then I have to come home and do uni assessments and stuff. Like I don't know how I did it, but I aced the four subjects. Um, I was mostly studying by the cemetery. It sounds bad, but because it's Weipa is such a quiet town, everything literally shuts at 4, even the library. Like there's nowhere else to go, Like I can't stay home when I study because, the Wi-Fi is here, TV's here, beds here, like all these distractions and comfort are just around me. So the only place I could think of was the cemetery. So bad, but I aced it. I was studying there.
And there was lights and stuff. There was lights at night.
So even at 7 in the evening, it's still bright as day here. The sun is still up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that was an advantage. But yeah, I do like bring my everyone in Weipa has a headlamp, and I did have that. Yeah.
How hot is it up there?
Oh my God. Uh, I think it's normal for us to have 37, 38. That's like everyday thing. Mm. And it goes up to like 40, 41. It's crazy. And imagine me working in a food trailer. It's like a human oven,
Yeah,
basically.
you're getting
Because
cooked
you
a
have
lot.
the deep fryer, you're like facing the deep fryers, and you've got your bain marie going. Like it's crazy.
So like, how do you survive? Well, what's this? Like, you just push through it, I guess.
Yeah, you just push through it. Yeah. And you're just lucky, you just whistle, Filipino thing. Like if you whistle, like winds come, apparently.
Nice.
It's funny, but yeah, that's that.
I used to work at McDonald's and I worked at the back and I was like frying chickens and it would get really hot and like I'd love just like going into the freezer room to get more chips or more nuggets and it'll be so nice and cool.
I do that when I'm bartending. Yeah, it's funny, but it's good. It's a good experience. Yeah, before I actually started this business on scratch, like from scratch. I went through a lot of employment. Like I was a bookkeeper, I was bartending, I was supervisor. Like I got fired twice. I got fired twice and I've quit the rest. And then the last time it's not really fired, it was like a mutual thing. They've asked me if I wanted to continue working. And I said no. And they're like, okay, good, because we weren't going to give you another contract because it was already like a conflict. I was already asking for so many leaves for my business. It was like a finance. I was working as a bookkeeper. It was like a finance Aboriginal company here in Weipa. And then at the by the end of the year, this is when we're going out like every Sunday to do our food stall. It just yeah, it got a bit complicated because I was asking for too much leave. And then yeah, my manager decided to let me go like in like good ways, like good terms. Like she said, I really think you're born to be your own boss. And then she's told me my traits during, while working with her and whatnot. Like I actually have my own way rather than being told what to do and I follow that. Usually just go, okay, this is what I have to do. This is like the usual way, but I've got something, better. I've got like another idea I want to try and do, and then I go that way. She's explained that to me, and she said, like I really like what love you working for us here, but because this is, I'm asking for too much leave, and she thinks I'm better off like my own boss and whatnot, because she literally like sees that in me, and she's like 50, 60, I think, the boss. So her wise words. Like, yeah.
And like, how did the voice fit in this whole picture? Like, where did that come from? It feels very left field.
So what's this?
The voice.
Oh, the voice. Oh, okay. So before I moved to here in Australia, I perform like every weekend almost, because I used to go in a music school, and I think every 3 months we have like gigs, like a show, like it's like a culminating show for like students in that music school. Yeah, and then from there, people, or what do you call it, like events just started to discover us, the students, and would hire us for certain events, sing here and there, become a Disney princess here and there. And then that's how I started making money out of like performing before I moved here in Australia. I was actually an artist, a performer, almost professional, actually. But yeah, we moved here, and obviously my life was like back to scratch, especially like moving straight to Weipa, like the Minesite. I actually got depressed when I moved here because I'm used to like stage, audiences, people adoring me, and then I moved here and it's like no one knows me. Like culture shock. I actually got depressed. And then, well, a year later, I broke my leg. So that made me even more depressed because I dance a lot, I sing and dance a lot. And then yeah, I broke my leg, went through surgery. I even got more depressed after that. It was a journey actually. My life story is just everywhere. Up to this day, I don't know where I wanna be in the future. All I know is I'm still gonna be my own boss in the next few years. But yeah, I don't know in what way. Is it through becoming an artist or business owner? But I actually don't see myself being employed under, companies anymore.
Do you still do anything?
Sorry?
Do you still do anything now when it comes to like singing and being an artist? Do you like, or have all your focus been on the food truck and the business?
It's passion. Like I don't think it's ever gonna go away.
Mhm.
I think being here in Weipa, my only outlet is literally just Instagram and TikTok. And
Mm.
that's when I dance and sing. Like even my mom's like, "Oh, you're 20, you become, like 25 years old. Stop dancing, like stop dancing and stop doing like all this on TikTok." And I'm like, "That's just me. Like that I'm an artist, like I mean, I don't look bad in it, but it's just an outlet for me to like let my, I don't know, passion out, I guess. Like it's never gonna die. But of course, what's important, especially my age, 25, growing older, I think is financial stability. So at the moment, I'm just taking advantage of the business, saving as much money, and I really want to get into property investment. So that's my ultimate goal. Um, so yeah, use the business, save enough. Maybe we're gonna buy a house this year or next, and then yeah, just keep buying houses until I actually don't have to work, don't even have to perform, just travel. I love traveling as well, actually. So yeah, that's the goal at the moment. Buy many property, Airbnb and whatnot, and then just travel.
Do you
Let
want to
money work for it. Hey?
do you want to buy property in Weipa, Cairns, or
No, not Weipa, because I don't know when mines are gonna be finished here. But yeah, big cities like Brisbane or Sydney, Cairns, Townsville. Yeah.
so cool. How old were you when you got your first food truck?
Hmm. 22, I think. I think.
Wow.
Just remembering it now. Yeah, 22, I think. Yeah.
And then like now you got the bigger 7 meter one. How, was that recently?
No, this is a year and a half ago now, I guess. Hmm. I don't think I'm gonna stop here. I really have like a good feeling or like a good like potential for the business. I'm reading books about franchising, watching YouTube videos about franchising. I really get into that. There's this event in Sydney actually where you can, introduce your business and see and meet franchisees and franchisors. Just looking into that, maybe doing that this year or next. Just need to prepare for it.
Huh. And then why the franchisee route? Like why not just open up like as you said, open up the second one in Cairns on your own, and then sort of maybe open up a third one on your own, and then maybe franchise, or do you want to go straight to franchising?
Actually, no, not straight to franchising. That what you said first was actually like the general idea, but I'm just learning how
Mm.
franchising works at the moment. Just
That's
exploring that world. Yeah.
You're super like proactive. Like you're like proactive learner and you try and like figure it out. Like a lot of people like get really intimidated or they just can't be bothered reading and figuring it out. So that's so cool that you've been doing that all on your own.
Yeah. Well, I think if, if there's an advice I could give to people who wants to start anything, just go for it. Like you're never really gonna know everything before you start. And once you start, people are gonna tell you what you need to do. Like example, like when I got my food trailer, I bought it and then I have to register it. So I registered it. And then they told me that I have to, like at the courthouse, they told me I have to apply for this. So I had to do that. Like literally, you don't have to know everything before you start. Along the way, people will tell you what you have to do. And yeah, you just I think you just have to be financially prepared. I think that's all you have to be prepared of if you really want to like start something. But you learn what you need to do, like eventually
That's so
along
cool.
the way. Because that's how I started. I literally it was just really impulsive, and then people just told me what I have to do, and it's actually you can't blame anyone for not knowing anything completely. I mean, okay, that's not full, right? Um, a bit of research here and there, but not like 100% sure. Example, you've got a form, but you're not gonna know what to answer in each and every question, and you don't have to, There's always gonna be people who can help you with that. And then, yeah, you just work from there.
Makes sense.
Just take the leap of faith.
Yeah, people get like stuck in like information like paralysis where just too much, they don't know where to start and you're right, maybe it's sometimes better to just start and figure it out on the way.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's it.
I
Or
was
you can easily just now like Google or YouTube or TikTok everything, really.
mm.
Yeah. Yeah, the first thing I did when I started the business is apply for ABN, and everything just followed.
Did you do that before or after the night markets or the weekend markets? Did you start the ABN after or before, during?
Before Yeah, everything before, like the ABN before.
Mm.
Because
Does
I
it?
really wanted to like have a business. So one of the first thing, if you search, apply for an ABN. So I
Mm.
applied for an ABN, and everything just, yeah, started from there.
I was my friend invited me to this run club this morning, and that's a popular thing in Sydney now recently, doing runs each like early mornings. So we did a run club. Well, I did the run this morning. I think there was probably like maybe like 500 people. There's like a ton of people.
Oh my God.
Um, and then you run across the Harbour Bridge, Opera House, you come back, and then there's this coffee store nearby. And everyone goes to that coffee store. I think there was probably like maybe like 200 people there or something,
Wow.
and like maybe each person buying like a $6 coffee, and I think maybe every minute a person can go through the line. So like that's $6 times that by like 60 minutes, so that's like $360 that hour.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
probably like pumping for like 2 hours, I reckon. So that's probably like around like $700.
Hmm.
I couldn't
What
tell,
for
like, is
two
that,
hours?
yeah, is that because like rent in Sydney is quite expensive? Like their rent is probably at least, like I'm thinking it's probably around 2,000 a week maybe for that storefront, maybe less. So it covers like maybe less than half of their weekly rent. Like is that small? Like, and that's the biggest blip they're gonna have that whole week. So I couldn't tell if that's like a lot or is it like average, because like they're just like they couldn't process more people. It feels like it's not like scalable. They can't get more $6 each minute. Like they're stuck. They only have one register.
Yeah. Wow. I wouldn't know, to be honest, like how they're doing that. That's why I don't want to like rent. Because
Mm.
that's the thing. Like it's so uncertain, like
Oh.
of how much you're gonna get, how many customers you're gonna get in a day, especially in a city like that. There's a lot of options. You've got Starbucks, you've got Dunkin' Donuts, literally like bubble tea everywhere. Like there's a lot of competition. I think with businesses, especially like food or beverage, the place or where you open the business would really, really matter. Like when you start food or beverage businesses, 70% would always fail in the first year.
Mm.
And I think that depends on, I guess, your branding. If you're just a normal cafe selling coffees in Sydney, and you've got all these competitions, I feel like you've got like a big chance to fail. I think you've got to have like an edge, or like might be your setting, or like the setting of your cafe, something people would want to take photos of themselves in there, that's how you get customers, or have food that's not sold everywhere else, like maybe waffle sandwiches, like waffle buns in like egg and bacon. Like not everyone has like something unique, something that puts you on the edge of people would want to go there specifically for something, either the setting or a specific food or a special drink that only you make. But if you're just like a normal bakery, a normal cafe, like why would I go to you if there's Starbucks? Especially if your rent is high. Obviously, you're gonna be selling your products high as well to cover up your rent. But if you're selling coffee that same price as Starbucks and you've got nothing special in your cafe, I'd rather just go to Starbucks because I can post it on Instagram. I can look fancy with it. Like that's what I think. Anyway, like with businesses, I always feel like you have to produce something that is not easily copied anywhere or not sold anywhere. Like it's just a unique edge for you. Mm.
How have you like taken that approach for your own business when it comes to branding and having that unique edge?
We're the only food trailer that sells bubble tea, I
Oh.
think in the Cape. And I really want to expand. Like I badly want to expand. Maybe looking at buying another food trailer and send it up to Bamaga or send it to Mapoon. And I think it's so easy to say, but the hardest thing is finding someone to trust, finding someone who can manage the business. I mean, the best, like with the books I've read, the best thing to do is find a partner, basically.
Mm.
But then you can never trust completely. They can always play, especially because there's cards and cash. They can
Mm,
always take a bit of cash, and that's without you knowing, and you'll never know if it's, like 100% or not. I think expanding the business, the idea of it is really like easy, and it's very easy to do actually, and achieve. It's finding the right partner, finding the right manager, it's finding the right person to look after the business for you
mm, mm.
when you're expanding, if you do decide to expand. I think that's the challenge, really. But yeah.
That's cool. What do you want to like? What's the plan for the business now? What's the next steps? Fine.
The next step is like what I said, like
Cairns.
expanding up in the Cape.
Mm,
And because we're planning to move to Cairns,
mm,
yeah, like starting from scratch in Cairns.
mm. Are you gonna keep the one in Weipa, or are you gonna move that down? Nice.
No, I'd want to keep it. I'd want to have like a partner here,
Uh,
looking for someone who look after it. Because obviously you can't, um, no one's gonna want to work for you while you're in Cairns. And
yeah,
then the 100% goes to you, and you just pay them per hour, like, and
yeah,
it's your personal business. I don't think anyone will grab it. So the
yeah,
best thing is to find a partner, like, yeah, let's go 60-40, and then if you're doing really well, 50-50. And then if I'm expanding a third one, you can go 60, I'll do 40. It's something like that. It's always just cha cha cha.
That's
Yeah. It's there's this book I'm reading now. It's Good for You, Better for Me. It's like a strategy, how to talk to people and how to negotiate, how both of you would win, how partners stays when you're in business, really.
what's been your favorite book that you've read over the last in your lifetime, I guess?
What helped me lots? I actually
Or your
read a lot.
favorite book?
I don't even know like the authors. So I read like property investment books, or Atomic Habit helped me a lot. It's really common, Atomic Habit, but yeah, it's so common, but it actually really helps if you apply or if you apply what you learn. Yeah, I've got this how to get rid of, I forgot, I just have it here. How to get rid of, I forgot the word. My English is gone. How to get rid of,
Negative people,
no, like how,
bad people, how to get rid of them,
being lazy. What
how
do
to
you
get
call
rid
it?
of procrastination.
Procrastination. Yeah, that's where I'm currently on at the moment. Just yeah, with everything, especially after The Voice, man. I was there for what? For 4 months. I was living like the normal life, like without the business.
Mm,
And now all I was doing for the business was paying people from the Philippines.
mm.
When I got back here, I just felt lazy. Like I want to be a princess. And I can't do that if you're running a business, you know? So I've got all this book to like get me going again, like get rid of procrastination, because I've been doing it lately. Because yeah, my social media has been up after The Voice, few TikToks and that, and then yeah, I've been just distracted from that, like, and now I have to like get back into it. Slowly getting there, but yeah.
You gotta read, I think it's The War of Art. Not the art of war, the war of art, and it's about battling procrastination and resistance.
What's it called?
The War of Art.
The Wall of Art.
The War of Art, War WAR by Stephen Pressfield.
Okay. Hmm.
And then I think I like now, like every, not anymore, but like when I come back from traveling, I'm in the exact same thing where it's like I'm lazy, I can't be bothered getting work done, I'm slow. I get like I don't even want to like start work. The resistance is so high. So I play the audiobook in the background and just play it. And then he talks about resistance, he talks about hitting the resistance each morning, doing what you don't want. And then if I just keep playing it every single morning, I start getting work done. And usually after 2 weeks, I'm like sort of back in gear after like a holiday trip.
Yeah. I'm just looking at my books here. I'll place it anywhere because I only read it when I can. Hang on, I'll grab it. I really want to show you this.
Please do.
This book. I got it from the Philippines. Um,
The Get Things Done book. That's cool.
it's not like novel. It's got like I even like folded a few page to like
Mm.
it's just little like strategies and it's explaining like I really love the it was called 5 4. It was like a rocket, 5 4 3 2 1, where if you
Mm.
like example, like getting out of bed and you feel like staying in bed just, because it's comfy, it's raining and everything. And usually people go 1 2 3 go and just stays in bed. But if you actually count down like, launching a rocket, you go 5 4 3 2 1. It actually pushes you. And I tried it many, many times. It actually works. If you count yourself down from 5 4 3 2 1, it's like, oh, this is it, and you get up. It's so weird. It actually works. Yeah, so I like this book.
I think
And then
I heard that before. I think like even like 3 to 1 or like 5 4. There's like something psychological apparently. Like they've done studies on it.
yeah. It was pretty cool. I tried it one morning. I felt really lazy. I didn't want to get up and do anything, and I just counted myself down. It's like, oh, I'm up. Yeah.
My last memory when I was in Cairns and I went up to that rainforest area, there was this local guy named Abel, and he just ran up to me and my family and was like, "Hey, do you want a coconut?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah." So we followed him, and he started climbing this coconut tree, like insane. He was just climbing the coconut, got to the top, got a coconut, threw it down, threw two or three down, and he also showed us how to break it open. And I was like, wow, this is so. And apparently, there's a lot of sharks there. He's showed me. He told me he swam to some island. He was like, there's tons of sharks, but I swam anyway. I was like, what?
Yeah, here in Weipa, if you will like, there's like a big bridge,
Hmm.
and if we're bored, well, this was years ago with my friends. If we're bored, we get like leftovers and we just chuck it in. You'd see all these sharks just. I even have videos, yeah, like just come in. And sometimes we like put it in like a fishing rod and we literally just tap the surface and you just see all these like even big fishes and stuff. Lots of sharks. It's crazy. Here in the Cape, up north, Queensland, there's lots of sharks and crocodiles too.
Mm. So is it like a like tropical island vibe up there? Like what's the
Yeah.
famous?
Oh, not really. That's more of like up north, like Bamaga. Like here is really like it's like a really small city. Like
Mm.
it's not completely remote, but it's not completely city life.
Mm.
Like it's a really small city. Yeah.
Do you see yourself like staying in a city or like growing up or like raising kids in a city or like outside a city, rural? What's your vibe?
City for sure. I was raised and I grew up in the city.
Mm.
And I think the best thing about what I'm struggling with here, being staying here in Weipa is there's not much like outlets for you to do. Or example, like you feel upset and it's 8 in the evening. If you're in Cairns, you'd go out for a walk, you'd
Mm.
go get yourself boba, go for a drive, not. But here, there's nowhere to go. You
Mm.
literally just stay at home and you just, like stuck in your own thoughts. All you can do is watch TV, be on your phone, and distract yourself. But yeah, I think that's it. Like, there's literally nothing to do. Like, you can't go bowling, you can't go clubbing, drinking whenever. Like, there's nothing 24/7 here. That's why it's like hard. Hmm.
Do you hang
I
out
think
with,
that's the thing. But
have you spent time with any of like the local Aboriginals?
oh, for sure, I'm like good friends with a lot actually. And because I used to work in Western Cape Communities Trust. It's a company looking after like the Aboriginal Islanders and the lands.
Mm.
And I was one of the bookkeepers. So I've learned so much because I had to read this book about them and their communities, like a group of people. There's like 11 or 12, I forgot now. It's like 3 years ago. 11 or 12 group of people. And then my ex-partner was actually Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander as well. So I was exposed to their culture firsthand. Um, it was really fun. It's not far from Filipino culture, to be honest. So it was really easy for me to get along them. Like the respect for the elders, or they're like how family oriented they are. Yeah, it's not really far from Filipino culture.
Are there any cool sort of Aboriginal cultural things that you got to experience?
Sorry?
Were there any fun, like Aboriginal cultural things, activities, ceremonies that you got to experience?
Ceremonies, yeah, I've seen funeral. I tried to hold my smile back. I'm so sorry. Like they were doing funeral, but there were what do you call it? Like a practice where they put rocks on, I wasn't smiling because it was funny. I was smiling because it was surreal to have, to actually see in
Mm-hmm.
person like their practice, like their cultural like practice.
Mm.
It was, yeah, it was really nice. It felt really nice to be around them, how what they're doing, like learning. I'm basically learning, and I love it. And I was like, just doing this, like really trying to hold that smile back because I was like, but then yeah, I had to like sit down and eat dugong, sea turtles, kangaroos, like, and I can't be fussy and go like, oh, I'm just gonna order macas because I don't eat turtles. Like I can't kick me out. So of course I have to like sit there and like, yeah, they asked me. I'm not pretending as well. I'm like, no, it's my first time. Like they ask me how it is, and I tell them honestly, I'm like, it like the turtle tastes like steak with an aftertaste of seafood. Like literally this like much, like, or that bit of turtle, and I could go with like it could go like half a cup of rice. Just so I couldn't taste the aftertaste, like just it's funny. But yeah, good experiences.
Do they still hunt? Like, did they hunt the kangaroo and sea turtle? Like, do they still do all those things?
Some communities, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, up north, yeah.
So cool.
They're really reserved up here with their cultures. Yeah, it's really like lovely to see or witness firsthand. Mm.
That's so cool. I remember on this like boat to Fitzroy Island, and I was like, "What's that land over there?" And the guy was like, "Oh, that's like sacred land. That's land only sort of Aboriginals can go on, and if you go on it, you're gonna get cursed." Type of thing. You need an elder to take you through it.
Wow, I've never heard of that, but yeah, they have things like that. Like only Aboriginal or island Torres Strait Islanders can hunt for turtles, or like catch
Mm.
turtles and cook turtles and eat turtles. Hmm.
So why did they have to look after Aboriginal landowners? How did that work? Or like what did they have to do?
Sorry, what was that?
How that place you worked at looked after Aboriginal landowners? Like what does that mean by looking after?
It's like the elders. So, example, my ex-partner, his surname is Ahmat, Ahmat, and there's a lot of them here in Weipa. And then they're like, the elders are the main landowners of a penny father. That's like a big chunk of land up north, and it's really strict. If example, like if one of the elders that's an amat passed away, the whole penny father is shut to tourists. Like no one can go there. It's called uh I forgot now. Closed country. I think it's called yeah, um closed country, where if there's a passing, it'll be on public notice saying no one is allowed, tourists or locals, no one is allowed to like go to this land because there's a passing. Like it's just respect. Like it's really big. The culture here is really big, and yeah, it's yeah, lucky like everyone just understands and respects it too. A lot of things to learn. Yeah, especially me like witnessing it firsthand because of my ex-partner.
How long is it shut down for after an elder dies?
It depends on the family. I think when they're okay, then I think there's one area was shut for almost a year.
Mm.
Mm. And there's rangers just looking after the area, and you get fined if you get spotted there, illegally, because it's been publicly announced that you can't go there and you're there. It's like it's a disrespect for, the whole family. And Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders here in Weipa, like mostly in the Cape, are highly respected. Mm.
And then when an elder passes away, who takes his place? How do they choose who takes his place?
Usually, like their children. It's just like handed generation to generation, really. Eldest, I think that's what my partner's dad told me. It's usually given to the eldest. The responsibility is given to the eldest, unless they're incapable, you know.
Do the family work, or like what's sort of their like year to year like? Do they just live off the land? Do they farm? Do they get jobs
They
in
work.
town?
They work on the mine site. Like most of them, yeah, a lot of them actually are workers. Hmm.
What type of mine site is it? What's the mineral that you guys mine? What ore is
Bauxite
it?
for aluminum.
Aluminum. What's the first one?
Bauxite. That's what they mine, the bauxite. Bauxite.
And what's bauxite?
It's like real little like gravel. It's like orange little gravels that they mine, and then they ship. There's a ship loader, and there's this big ships coming in, and then they just load it there, and then apparently they go to China because it's aluminum.
Oh, so aluminum comes from bauxite.
Mm.
Mm. And then how old is the mine town? Like how long has it been a mine town for?
Okay. Probably like 100, probably over 100.
Oh wow,
And
long.
apparently, yeah, long time. And apparently it can go for more, probably another 200 years.
Yeah, because I was curious. I was like, what would happen? What happened before and maybe after the mine sites for like the local Aboriginals? Like, if the mine site closes, what do they do now? They're gonna get work. And prior to that, I guess prior to that, they just hunted maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Rio, there's another company before, I think it's called Wesco or something, but before Rio Tinto is like the big mining company that's looking after the mining here now. But I've heard there's a company before that, but they basically, and this is where I used to like the government. This is where we're like in between like the elders, and then us, the government, the trust, and then
Mm.
Rio Tinto. So
Mm.
it's like they get royalties for mining, for letting Rio mining mine the land.
The government,
Mm.
the trust.
Yeah, trust. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess
Yeah. So they get paid for allowing the company to mine in their land. It's like an agreement thing. And we hold the agreement where I used to work. We hold the agreement.
is the trust owned by Aboriginals?
Yeah. It's not managed by one, but I'm sure
Mm.
I think it's government, to be honest.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's cool. Is there like, do you think like it would have, when like a mining company comes into like an Aboriginal area and starts digging things up, do you think that's like bad luck? Like, are the Aboriginals, are they unhappy about it, or are they okay because now they have work?
I'm sure they were unhappy of it at first.
Yeah.
But with money, it's always negotiable with money. Money comes, it's a big role of it, of anything or everything really.
Mm.
If Yeah. Do you know how like the memes on Facebook, you like slap your sister or slap her sister and get 1 million,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd slap your sister to get 1 million, like it's always like a big factor. So I think it's same as, of course, maybe like there's a party when I started, there's a party that was super against it, and then another party trying to convince like, oh, they're giving us this amount of money, this
Mhm.
and that, and then yeah, they probably just ended up saying yes for the money, and then yeah, because I think the company didn't just offer money, they offered to build a town for them, and this is Weipa now.
Oh wow.
There's a gym, there's a basketball court, there's skate parks, there's 2 gyms, there's a swimming pool, there's all these infrastructures really for the locals.
Does everyone know each other since it's like a small town?
Oh, for sure. You'd see the same like faces every day if you go to the shops, you go to the chemist, same workers unless they quit, unless they find another job, same bartenders. Yeah, basically like yeah,
So
you
is
see
it like
same faces everywhere.
so is it like awkward when like I don't know, you
Sorry.
like is it awkward when you like break up with an ex and like you're in the same town and like everyone's like really close?
Um, it would be awkward if it was like a bad blood breakup, but it wasn't. So no, it's still the same. The family still goes to food trailer, ask how I am, and yeah, yeah, it's actually all good. Yeah. I
That's
think it's just awkward if it's like bad blood.
yeah.
But so far with me in my experience, it's so good. So
Nice, nice. I guess the next step for you is to move to like your next goal is to move to the city, move to Cairns and
yeah, because my sister is an architect. Once she finishes TAFE, she needs to be in a city because there's no architect, like opportunity for her to work here in Weipa, really.
how did your family choose Weipa when they came to Australia?
Oh, true, good question. So my dad worked here for 15 years before we moved here. It's basically like stuck here
Mm.
since 15 years ago before we even moved here. Yeah. But the money is here. Like
Yeah.
the of living is high here, but then the pay is high as well. I mean, I think everywhere is like that, really. But oh my God, the rent here is probably like 700-800 a week. The
Whoa,
house, and that's only what 3-bedroom house. That's average,
that's high.
and that doesn't even have like a big backyard, just like unit. Yeah, but then you get paid like what 5-6 grand a month
Oh, okay. So roughly around
if you
like
work in a mine site.
80K a year.
And then if you work for Rio, all your flights are free.
Mm.
Um, you've got a percentage of the rent being paid off. Some companies offer 500, what do you call that? Subsidy, because the rent here is really high. Some companies for trades offer like 500 a week subsidy for their rent. Mine workers have 50% off electricity bills. There's a lot of like benefits if we're, working in a mine site. It's just you're far away from a city. I think that's the only downfall to it.
What was it like? Not like I guess since you grew up in the Philippines, your dad was working in Australia, so he wasn't there much. What was that like growing up? Or did your dad fly over a lot?
Sorry, I should have. So this is my stepfather.
Oh.
Yeah, my biological father is still in the Philippines, hence it's why I always go home to like visit him.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, but I didn't really grow up with my biological father as well. Like my biological father and my mom broke up when I was 3 or 4. So
Mm.
basically didn't grow up with him. My elder sister grew up with him. So like the court separated us.
Mm.
So my sister grew up with my papa and then I grew up with my mama. And then at 7, I met my stepdad.
Oh,
And
that's
he's Australian. And now I've got like a half brother who's 14.
oh, okay. That's so cool.
Mm.
That's so cool. Congrats on everything. Like it's so cool that you're like so like driven naturally. I guess like you're probably born like that of sort of wanting to always do something on your own, and you've always had that grind to like pick many different jobs and try to figure things out. And you sort of have that like go-getter mindset of like learning and sort of not being scared to roll up your sleeves and figure it out yourself. So it's so good.
Thank you. Yes. Actually, I didn't really realize how much I've been through until to this interview. It made me realize a lot how far I've come and what I've been through, like being fired, more than once. Couldn't stay in one job, and then here I am running a 4-year-old business and still doing really well, and then traveling and yeah, about to buy a house.
That's so cool. And you're like did it like all at such a young age as well, so you have like so much time to like just keep growing and just keep crushing it.
Cheers, thank you. Yeah, hopefully everything will go well.
When's that conference in Sydney for the franchising thingy?
I didn't take note of the thing.
Have you been to Sydney before?
It was sometime in May.
Okay.
Sometime in May, and then another one in October, I'm sure. It was
Did
like
you?
a two. It was like a 2-3 day conference.
Got it.
Mm.
Have you been to Sydney before?
I have. I have been in Sydney before when I had to renew my passport. This was like what, 4 years ago, I think.
Okay.
Mm.
Would you ever move to Sydney, or is that like too chaotic, too much?
Oh my God. Sydney is where I want to move actually, especially before starting the business. I badly wanted to move to Sydney because, to pursue my passion, which is singing and dancing. I feel like Sydney is the best city to be in.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. Up to this day, I still think like, yeah, but because I've got the business and I still, like expand it and I have, a few lists of good ideas of where to expand it.
Mm.
So it's really far from Sydney at the moment, but we'll see, we'll see. But yeah, no, it'd be nice to like move to Sydney, like city, because I grew up in a city. Me and my sister grew up in a city.
Was it Manila?
Hopefully, maybe one day. Sorry?
Did you guys grow up in like Manila? Was it that?
No, in Cebu, it's the big. Sorry, my God, it's the biggest, second biggest city in the Philippines.
Mm-mm-mm.
Mm.
That's so cool. Last two questions I usually always wrap up these interviews with. One, any recent discoveries that you've been implementing to your day-to-day life?
Recent discoveries that I've been implementing to my day-to-day life.
Mm.
Mm. It's the book Atomic Habit had like big impact on my life. So whenever I feel lazy, I think of what I've read through the books. I do have sticky notes in there and whatnot. If I feel lazy, I always just go, even if I do a 1% today, it's something me getting better anyway, at least than being, stagnant. And then it pushes me to do things or something new or something better every day. Mm. So that's that. Atomic Habits was big help.
And then what's your plan and focus for the next 6 months? Nice.
6 months. Ooh. Saving, really. That's it. It's as simple as that, but it's actually hard to do, especially with people these days and all these online shopping and the traveling and, just what you see on TikTok you want to buy and stuff. All these temptations around you, really. So it's so easy to say that, I'll be focusing on saving for the next 6 months, but it's actually really hard to do, especially these days. So
When
that's the focus.
when any goals, or like at what age would you want to sort of buy that first house, you reckon?
Ooh, next year,
Oh,
26.
that's cool.
It's actually pretty late if you ask me, I think. But
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, like a lot of everyone that goes to like get a job and work in corporate, they sort of do get a house early. I sort of like, so I have a business, and like we've been sort of like bleeding out for like the last 2 years, and now we're sort of ish getting close to break even. We did really well during COVID and the years prior, and I was like if someone works a corporate job and then makes say like 8K a month, a lot of the money would go to the mortgage for their house.
mm,
And then like if I make 8K in the business, then I'm paying employees, I'm paying for different softwares, and there's just a bunch of expenses. And then I'm also left with nothing by the end of the month. And I'm like, what the hell? And then I realized that the first scenario, they're putting all their money into a mortgage, and that's their vehicle of investment. And in like 10 years' time, in like 50 years' time, the $1 million house is going to be worth, say, 20 million.
yeah, that's it. That's
But when, as a business owner, when you're putting in all the money back into the business, in 50 years' time, your business could probably sell for like, well, if you do 50 years, one thing for 50 years, you can sell it for like way more than 20 million. And then I started seeing that, okay, all the money, all my expenses is just reinvesting back into the business, whether it's employees and all that has like on the surface, it doesn't look like it has like a 10% return a year, 6% return a year, like sort of buying a house, but there's a return that's sort of like unseen, I guess.
yeah. I don't know. I'm just thinking of the atomic habits again because it's you're investing sort of in any way,
Mm.
business or house or yourself. It doesn't seem a lot
Mm.
in like the first 2 years, like working out, going to the gym for the first two years, you'd never see anything. There's always that breaking point, and if you stop, then you'd probably like not see the what do you call it, the changes, or the progress it's made, or the changes or the development that it's made if you stop. I don't know
Mm.
if I'm making sense. But it's always going to be that breaking point, and yeah, you just have to keep going because you just don't know when that is. Yeah, I'm actually lost. Was this a question?
Yeah, just like a random thing I said. But that's all my questions. Do you have any questions for me?
Hmm, not really. I think I'm all right.
Where can people find more about you? Where's the best places for people to find and follow your journey? Fine.
To like
Your
personally like know me or get to know what I'm doing in my life really is on Instagram. TikTok's just singing and dancing. I mean,
Alright.
I do plan on like making more out of it because I've got the most following there. I'm almost at 200K, I think,
Oh.
following. Yeah, and I really think I should put like sensible contents there because I'm literally just singing and dancing there, making fun of myself. It's literally just artistic, my TikTok. But yeah, Instagram is more personal, I think. So yeah.
Nice. We'll link it in the description below. Yeah, keep crushing things, Ian. It's so cool to hear your story. You've definitely been gone through like the full sort of journey of sort of becoming a business owner. So it's so cool to hear and break it down. And yeah, you're such a driven young go-getter. So I guess yeah, keep crushing things. And I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Andy. I appreciate your time to interview me too. This is actually my first podcast or interview like this. It's why I just, like, oh, I've realized everything that I went through. It's actually a lot because of this interview. So thank you. Woke me up, like it's another push motivation, I guess. It's another like, oh shit, I went through a lot to give up. Something like that. Yeah. So now it's in the back of my head. So thank you for that. It's a little awakening session for me.
I'm glad that it was fun. Yeah.
Helpful. Yeah. It was. Thanks, Andy.
Guys, if you made it this far, please let me know your thoughts on the episode, and I'll see you guys next week with another episode. Peace.
Bye, Andy.